T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Bring your appetite down to Big Belly Cafe, 140 Gore Street, Webster, Mass. for curbside, takeout, and indoor seating. Visit BigBellyCafe.com to view their hours, menu, and order online. For reservations, please call ahead at 508-949-2433. Follow Big Belly Cafe on Facebook for weekly and daily specials. And remember, all veterans receive a discount for their recognition of service. Big Belly Cafe. Reedy's Archery, located in Middleborough, Mass. at 121 Wood Street, has been a staple in the area since 1993 and has become the one-stop pro shop for competitive target archers and bow hunters from New England. Reedy's is open Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 10 p.m. to 4 p.m. Make sure to visit Reedy'sArchery.com and follow them on Facebook to keep up with upcoming events. Reedy's Archery, dedicated to the archer. Wolf Aviation Network is the only flight school in the area utilizing the Airwolf Simulator AATD and the specialized Part 61 training program designed to save students money while increasing safety and efficiency. Creating safe pilots is our first priority. Our flight sim is the perfect training device. It is designed to prepare students adequately before taking flight in our aircraft. Fly with us and save money. Wolf Aviation. Reserve your spot at 413-563-1929 and visit wolfaviationnetwork.com.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out.
Here's my resume again.
But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
Do you have any real-world experience?
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Make no mistake, reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Welcome to another episode of Fubar Studios. I am your host, Doug, and we are here with Stephanie Marchetti. And we are going to be talking about some of the stuff that is going on with the Montachusett Veterans Outreach Center. And I want to say thank you, Stephanie, for coming on this evening. And, let's dive right in and let's talk about some of the things that we were talking about earlier. And that was, regarding these for stuff for like homeless veterans and stuff like that. But also provide me a little background on into you.
Sure. So thanks for having me, Doug. Happy to be here. So again, my name's Stephanie. I'm from Montachusett Veterans Outreach Center, which is headquartered in Gardner, Mass., but we support veterans throughout the 27 cities and towns of North Central Mass. I have been the executive director there for just over 2 years now. And before that, I actually spent about 10 years working at Mount Wachusett Community College, but I worked a lot with veteran students at the college.
Okay.
And so because of my work with the veteran students and helping them navigate like educational benefits through the VA and stuff like that, I was asked to join the board of directors at MVOC. So I was on the board of directors for about 1.5 years, and then this position opened up. So I decided to step into it. And MVOC is pretty great. It's been around actually for about 42 years. It started off as a Vietnam era Veterans Outreach Center because our founder, Kathy McWilliams, her husband was a Vietnam vet. Unfortunately, when he got back from Vietnam, there was no help for him. He had a really severe PTSD and he took his own life. And Kathy got pissed that nobody helped and the VA kind of failed her. So she started this because there was nobody else doing anything like it. And then it's just kind of grown over the years. So now we do all sorts of things. We have housing programs. We have independent apartments for veterans, free counseling, food and clothing pantry, medical transportation, benefits advisement. And then we do a lot of fun stuff too. We're running a fly tie fishing class right now. We went to a Red Sox game about a month ago. So we
Nice.
kind of try to be like a one-stop shop for the men and women that come to use us. And then the other thing I always like to note about MVOC is that when we say we serve all veterans, we mean all discharge statuses, whether they were good or bad. We also mean guards and reservists, whether or not you were federally activated. So even if you don't qualify for the VA, we'll still help you.
Oh, perfect. I mean, that's a lot of the things that I was going to be asking too, because again, there's a lot of stuff that happens that people may look at other veterans and say, well, you weren't active, you weren't this, so we can't help you. It's like, wait, but you were in the service.
Right. They signed their name on the line. That's more than a lot of us did. So
Yeah. No, and that's where we appreciate, us veterans, we do appreciate stuff like that. Now I know that some veterans, even including myself, is sometimes we don't want to, go to like even the VA hospital to seek treatment for certain things. How, like, does your guys' organization, does it help veterans with stuff like that?
yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, like I said, one of the reasons we exist is because the VA wasn't handling everything, especially back at the time we were founded. So we do a few different things. So we don't have medical doctors or anything like that, but we have mental health counselors, So if you're on a 12-month waiting list for a VA counselor and you need to talk to someone sooner, you can come see us, no insurance needed. And then if you don't know how to sign up for VA benefits, because the paperwork is really confusing, we have people who will just help you with the paperwork and make it easier to understand, because there's just a lot of forms, a lot of red tape, and we can work you through all of that. And then even if you wanted us to go to your first appointment with you because you weren't comfortable going, we'll do that too.
Oh, perfect. That, I mean, that, because that's, 'cause I know some people, they always are trying to figure out stuff, because there is a lot of red tape that certain, certain people just don't get into, and they try to understand it and they can't get past it. Uh, which I'm gonna have another episode with another individual that, you know, that people like, I'm always fascinated into it is, what's the time frame people, to like, they are giving, um active duty soldiers, when they about to get their ETS date, and get to that date to where they're going to be getting out, how much time do they really have to really understand and be able to transitioning themselves from that of being in the service, active duty, till they're now going being saying, there's the gate, now you're a civilian, see you later.
And on top of that, if they're getting out because they got injured, or particularly like a traumatic brain injury, which is what we
Yep.
see a lot of, they can't fill out the paperwork, right? Like the memory loss isn't there. The skills to write are sometimes gone based on the injuries you've had. And then you get out and they're like, all right, thanks. So you can come to us and we'll work you through all of that.
Perfect. And then that's great. And that's, I bet a lot of the veterans that are going to be reviewing this, it's going to be something that they're going to be looking to, because those are questions that some of them ask, now, if now say that they don't qualify for veteran benefits and stuff like that. You did say that you guys help those individuals with that. Do you guys still provide like counseling and stuff like that?
So if you don't qualify for VA stuff, first we're going to figure out why, right? So if you got a bad discharge status, could you get upgraded? That, let's see if we can make that happen. And then if that's not a possibility, we can help you figure out, can you get mass health? Can you get another form of healthcare? And we will help you fill out the applications for it. But no matter what, you qualify for our mental health counseling. You can use our food and clothing pantry. You can use our medical transport. And then if you qualify, you can use case management with us as well.
Perfect. I mean, that's great. Another thing I know that we were talking about as well is this whole stuff that you got going on with, purchase, the grants that you guys are getting through the government, as well as donations. And what most recently you guys purchased, the foundation ended up purchasing 2 schools, I think it was, up towards Gardner.
Yeah, so I could talk a little bit about that. So we are, as a small nonprofit, we have a bunch of different funding sources and we kind of piece them all together. So we have 2 federal VA contracts. One is for a 12-bed shelter program. So guys coming out of, I'll say like the DOM or REACH, which are VA supported detox programs, are usually who come to that to that 12-bed program. So that's VA supported. It's called GPD. It exists nationally. So if you're listening to this and you're in another state and you're a homeless vet, there is a GPD program in your state for sure. Our second federal VA program is a housing retention program, which is when we can deploy a case manager to you out in the community if you've got an eviction notice, your building was sold and you need to relocate, anything like that. So those are our 2 federal VA contracts. We also have a bunch of state contracts with the now Executive Office of Veteran Services. And the state contracts support our outreach. I mean, I've got guys who go out into the woods to try and get veterans to come inside. The outreach will go to like senior centers and legions and things like that. It'll provide our medical transportation, our van rides. And then we also have state contracts to support 2 of our other housing programs, which is a permanent home for male vets and a permanent home for female vets. And those are group homes. And then in addition to the federal and state contracts, we have private grants and donations. But most recently, we were awarded money from, it was the Department of Housing and Community Development. It's been renamed now to the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, I believe.
Yeah.
And they awarded us almost $20 million so that we could rehab 2 old schools in Winchendon and build 44 more low-income apartments for homeless veterans. So we have about 20 apartments in Gardner now, and this will more than double the number of apartments that we've got that will be offered not just as affordable housing, but fair market rate housing,
Yeah.
which is an even lower rent.
Now that to be qualified for that, you got to be VA. Is it VA connected or
for some of it? So when I wrote the proposal to the state, I wrote it so that I think like 80 or 85% of the veterans would be that typical VA qualified vet. But the other 20% is open to veterans that don't qualify for anything, and also family members of veterans. So if you're a widowed spouse or something like that, you would be eligible to live there too.
So go like Gold Star mothers and stuff like that,
Exactly.
spouses,
Yep.
and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, I mean that's definitely it's one of the things I've always been looking at is like trying to realize like there's so many veterans that are out there that, you know, I even talked to that are in Boston, and it's like they try to get help and they're trying to get assistance, but then they get told, well, you make too much money. And it's like, wait, you're telling a veteran that they make too much money and the only thing they're getting is their disability?
Yes.
That's outrageous. It's like, holy cow, how can you really do that to a veteran? I mean, even if it was like, say, you know, they're receiving say $2,000 a month, that's what, 24,000 a year. That's still too much money, really?
It's not livable. So one of our state contracts, I wrote in a financial assistance grant to it, and I specifically wrote that there is no income requirement. Because if you make $5 more than whatever is considered low income, there's no help for you. And that's insane.
Yeah.
Especially when our veterans are getting diagnosed with all of these weird cancers from the work they had to do, and they have medical bills piling up. So for veterans in that case where you don't qualify for anything and maybe you're behind on your bills, whether you're in North Central Mass or not, as long as you're in Massachusetts, if you call me, I can give you financial assistance, and I don't care about your income.
Man, that's amazing. And that's what we're, you know, us veterans, that's what, you know, we're looking for. It's because, you know, not everybody is lucky to be able to, for me, I'm still working, you know, and living in a house, but, you know, there's so many veterans that are not as fortunate and they come back, you know, messed up more than other veterans. And it's like, they don't have anything. They don't have, you know, excuse my French, but a pot to piss in. And it's like, wait, why aren't we helping these individuals? Why aren't we spending the necessary funding and, you know, stuff that we can be able to give back to them? Because that's where it's, you know, that's where we did sign on a dotted line, you know, to up and including our lives to give. We don't, us veterans, we don't want, you know, everything handed to us, and we never expect that. But we just want what is kind of would help us to be able to be normal back into society as a civilian after, you know, seeing certain things happen and have to go through those mental problems that unfortunately we have.
And let me speak to that for a second too, because I say this every time I talk to anybody about veterans benefits. You guys are so proud, and none of you want a handout, and I have a lot of respect for that. The other side of that, though, is that the more of you who come forward and take the help, the more funding will be created for it. So a lot of times the guys will say, I don't want to take the help. Other guys have it worse. They need it more than me. That's actually not how it works.
Yeah.
If people don't take advantage of the benefits that are offered to them, the government's going to think you don't need those benefits, and they're going to pull back the funding for it. So take it, because you taking it is helping a brother or sister out who does need it. So just fix that mindset. Get your VA health insurance, even if you don't need it.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with that. That's where, as a veteran, you got to kind of take your head out of just thinking that, you don't need to take it because another veteran has that may need it, more than you. It's, you got to realize the government will give you and they will take it from you. So if they say, okay, we're going to give you $800 million to help veterans, through the VA system and stuff. But say you only say the VA only uses 600,000 or 600 million. They're going to take that 200 million and they're going to say, see you later. Now,
exactly.
Now you only got 600 million. And it's like, wait, hold on. But now this year, we need that other, say, $120 million more. Well, now the government's like, no, wait, you didn't need that last year. Why do you need it this year? It's like, no, just use everything you can, because if not, they will take it and it will be long gone. And unfortunately, it will take time for it to get back. Even if they can try to get it back, it's an act of Congress to get it.
Yeah, and politics moves slow.
Yeah.
So once it's gone, it could be 10, 20 years before it comes back.
Yep, absolutely. And it's sad that that happens. It's sad that politics and stuff like that get involved with it. When it comes to servicemen and women, it's like it shouldn't. And that's where it's like you gotta break through that barrier and be able to just get the necessary things done and not have that, red tape.
Yeah, get your service connection, get your VA health care. The biggest thing that I usually tell the vets that walk in is like, there's a really good chance your ears are ringing all the time, right? Because of all the sounds you're around. Get a 10% service connection for your hearing.
Yep.
Because in 50 years or 30 years or 20 years, when the Iraq and Afghanistan vets are older, they're going to really wish that hearing connection stuck around, right? And that's the easiest one, because it's not mental health, it's not admitting weakness. Like, if your ears are ringing and you're in the military, tell someone and get the service connection. If your knees hurt because you did 167 jumps, tell somebody.
Yep. No, I mean, I got it, and I ended up getting the hearing aids through it.
Yeah, and they're great hearing aids.
They are. I'll tell you, they're phenomenal. It was like before, it was like, someone could say my name and I'll be like, huh? Like I wouldn't even hear it. And then like they'll come up and tap me on the shoulder. I'm like, wait, were you calling my name? I didn't even hear you. And it's like, well, you're only 5 feet away from me.
Yep.
I can't answer it. It's not selective hearing, I'll tell you that. But again, it's something that it's like, it's there. It's, because 9 out of 10 times, I guarantee you that if you weren't even deployed, you were at a range, and I guarantee you still heard the everything that was going around you. It could be anything from the 249, 240, the 5.56 rounds going off. It doesn't matter. It's just you would have been hearing it, and sometimes you may not even had your hearing plugs in, the earplugs in, or you may even been just in one of those FTXs out there that they just literally just throw one of the blasters out and then just get you, and it's like, whoa, wait.
Something was exploding at some point.
Correct.
And there's no shame in saying like, I can't hear. So that's always like the easiest tiptoe through the door. If you don't want to accept help, that is usually the easiest nudge.
It is. It's really the easiest one to get through, and it's like, Okay, because more than likely you will need it later on as you get older.
Yeah.
So
and you'll have seen the process, right? At that point, you'll have done the process to get a service connection. So if something comes up later, especially like we're seeing now with all the burn pits and the problems those are causing, you'll at least know a little bit about what the process looks like, so it won't be as intimidating to go through a larger version of it.
Yep, absolutely. Now, I know we were talking, regarding these beds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, you currently have what, 6 properties between Gardner and Winchendon?
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit more about those if you'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. Please, definitely.
So in Gardner, our headquarters is on Central Street,
Yep.
and we actually own 2 buildings right next to each other because we outgrew one. So in our headquarters, we have 7 studio apartments, which are just low income independent apartments for veterans. And then we have that 12-bed transitional program, which is the federal funded one. Veterans in that 12-bed program can stay there for up to 2 years. It is a sober program, and you'll have a case manager assigned to help you figure out whatever you want to do, find employment, get a HUD Bash voucher for housing, get a VA mortgage if you want to buy a house, whatever you need. It's a good pit stop for you. The building next door has just kind of administration and training space on the first floor, but the second floor is 3 more apartments. On Nickel Street in Gardner, we have 10 apartments. And then on South Main Street in Gardner, we've got what we call Unity House, which is a group home for male veterans. It's 15 bedrooms. It's actually got 2 full kitchens, 3.5 bathrooms. There's a full-time case manager on site there. The only difference between that house and the 12-bed one is that you can stay there for as long as you'd like. And so a lot of times older veterans who just don't want to live alone, will choose to live there. And then in Winchendon, we have what's called Kathy's House, named after our founder. It's an 8-bed home for female veterans as well as female family members of veterans. And it's actually one of the only women's veterans housing facilities in the state. I think it was the first one nationally when it opened.
That's amazing. That's hands down. That's, again, it's, and I know, you only like you hear more about male veterans and stuff like that, and it's great that everything is starting to be able to be recognized. Is that wait, it's not just men that serve, it isn't women that do serve. Let's be able to give them the same opportunity and the same stuff to be able to help them out, because again, men are not just the only ones that suffer from certain things. Women also do too, and that's a great thing that I'm hearing, that it's more of a trend that they are offering housing and stuff like that for women veterans and families.
Yeah, and the state has a really nice, I think it's just called the Women's Veterans Network, run out of the executive office, and they do all sorts of stuff. They even do like hiking, yoga, just general like get together and chat stuff. So they're trying to find women veterans and gather them together, because they're kind of spread out, without, they weren't invited to the legions or the posts and things like that. They were invited to the auxiliary.
Yeah.
And that's not really where they belong if they served.
Correct.
So the Women's Veteran Network has been doing a lot of good work. So if there's any female veterans listening, just Google that and you'll find out all about it. It's great.
Definitely. And I'll put a lot of this stuff I'm gonna have. I'll have links onto there.
Okay.
Even out to the outreach and stuff like that. So they'll be able to connect just right down below in the messaging and stuff like that. And even if they do, and you guys are out there, and you have a questions that maybe you just need to get directed over there, don't hesitate to send a link down below or send me a message down below, and I'll point you right into the direction of the outreach and stuff like that. Back to just a little bit is now with the housing and stuff like that. I know that you're mentioned now with to do with foods, to do with like the pantries and stuff, as you were mentioning as well. Now, do the veterans, do they have like someone that comes into these housing and cook for them, or is it something that they just get to go into the pantry and then bring the stuff back and stuff?
Sure.
What?
So it depends. So if you're in our independent apartments, you can kind of just come to our pantry and get what you need. Or if you're any veteran, you don't have to live with us. Come into the pantry and get what you need. For our pantry, it's largely stocked by the Worcester County Food Bank and the United Way, which means it's mostly shelf stable items. But interestingly enough, in the summer, we have a lot of fresh produce because the prisons in the area actually have beautiful gardens and they donate the produce to us. So we'll have fresh fruit and vegetables throughout the summer. And then we also have a contract with Hannaford, and they give us food at the end of each week as well. That being said, if you are housebound, if you can't get to us, you don't have a car, or you just don't drive anymore, you can call us and we do food box delivery once a month as well. And we'll just bring a box of shelf stable items to your home. But if you are like most of our veterans and you don't want to cook either, there are a lot of options for you. And one of the great ones I know of is Clear Path for Veterans out of Devon's. They're another nonprofit. They're awesome. They do a canteen lunch once a week, I believe, in Devon's. They also do a lunch where you can pick up to go food through the Leominster Veterans Center, I believe once a week as well. So if you look at Clear Path for Veterans website, they've got it. So they do pre-cooked meals. You have to have like a Board of Health certified kitchen to do that, and we don't. So we work with Clear Path and send our vets to them if they need a fully cooked meal.
Do you guys provide them, like the veterans that live in the housing and stuff like that? Do you provide them like transportation over to those, or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Actually, one of the Clear Path guys came by and brought us a box of hot dogs this week. We're bringing a carload of vets to their canteen next week. So yeah, we all work together. We're not like competing organizations. We all do different stuff. So I'll transport our residents to Clear Path for the lunches and things like that, vice versa as well.
I might have to get involved with that too, because
yeah,
I do cook of quite a bit, and I'll tell you, it's even down to like spaghetti and stuff. I make my own homemade sauce,
nice.
And I'll tell you, I make pots of it.
So Clear Path, their chef too is awesome, and I just heard that their chef is going to do a 20-week culinary class for veterans for free. Oh. So if you want to actually take a class with like a Michelin level chef, they're going to be doing that too.
I actually did it. I did a class. It was down when I was in high school. I did it with a culinary arts graduate from what was it? Culinary Arts of America.
Oh, nice.
And then ended up meeting somebody else that they was showing me, and they were from Johnson & Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, holy cow, I'll tell you, they showed me how to cut like an apple or make a swan out of an apple.
Oh, wow.
Baby carriage out of a watermelon. It was like, holy, wait.
It's fun.
Yes, it is. It really is. And it's amazing. And they even showed me how you can even make take a tomato and cut it all the way around like little spikes, and then take the tomato and put like garlic, pepper, and a little bit of cheese, and then throw it into the oven and let it bake for a few minutes. And it's like, holy cow, it's like mouth-watering. It's like
an Italian dream.
Oh, absolutely. Holy cow. So I might have to hit them up to maybe do something. I mean, that's kind of pretty neat, I gotta say. Nifty. I like it.
Yeah.
Now, with this, what the heck is going on? I'm hoping that, it does. It is again. I don't know. I gotta figure this out.
Okay. If you get kicked off, just re-invite me back in.
Yeah, and I'll just have to move them all around. Funny. I don't know. So with that, now, do they have like for these veterans as well, do you guys have like a clothing pantry or something like that? Because I know, like, I've met with some people up in New Hampshire that are like the Liberty House and stuff like that. They have stuff like that. But that's up in New Hampshire. This is Massachusetts, which I was like, Might as well ask.
Yeah, so our food pantry also has clothing, hygiene supplies, household goods, and sometimes pet food. But all of those things are donation based for the most part. So we usually have a fair amount of clothing, especially in the winter. We give out usually over 100 winter coats for free to veterans in the winter. We actually get Bombas socks twice a year too. So the Bombas sock company, they donate one pair for every pair sold. They're not kidding. I have 8,000 pairs in my pantry right now. So please come take our socks. We also have like toothpaste, deodorant, shaving stuff, razors, things like that. And then every now and then we'll have household items. Usually if somebody donates them if they're cleaning out a house, and dog and cat food, which is usually if like the animal control centers have a surplus, they'll bring them over to us and we have that to give out too. So
Nice.
it's worth coming in and seeing what we have. And the same as I said about VA benefits, like even if you don't need everything at the pantry, come and take it, because I'll run a report about how many people came to the pantry. And the more people that come, the more money I can get to keep it going.
Perfect. So we'll blast this out even more and see what we can do.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, now I know a lot of veterans, females and males, we all look for, a fresh haircut.
Mhm.
Do they have, because I know a few barbers that, do a lot of stuff like that, free haircuts for veterans. Do you guys have anybody like that? If not, I'd be able to put you in contact with at least one or two that are up and around this area.
Yeah, we actually just did our first free haircuts for vets. A woman named Danielle Betro came. She works at Supercuts in Leominster, I think, and did free haircuts for vets in advance of Memorial Day. I also have gift certificates for veterans to 2 places in Leominster as well. And then I believe Clear Path for Veterans does haircuts there as well. I know they used to, I don't know that they still do, but it's worth checking. And I also believe if you go to one of the stand downs, they usually do free haircuts at the stand down events as well. And I don't know when. Oh well, there's one tomorrow, so this will air after it. The Worcester one is on June 23rd, but there'll be ones in Boston and Western Mass too.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'll put an eye out for that too. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll be able to put that out, and then when the next one comes up after that, then I'll just post it so they can see that.
Yeah, for sure. We always share it on our Facebook page. So if you just search Montachusett Veterans Outreach Center on Facebook, anything that we have going on is on there, but anything nearby that we see for veterans, we reshare on there too.
Perfect. Definitely, this is definitely getting interesting. I know I got so much more to do. Let's see. But I just got to give a big shout out to our sponsors here with Big Belly Cafe, located in Webster, Massachusetts. We've got Reed's Archery down in Middleborough that does a lot with us. We've got Wolf Aviation that's in Westford, Massachusetts. Again, they're another one of our sponsors. And we also have coming up that we're actually getting put in with a big shout out. We want to give a big shout out to them, but we're getting partnered up with Derek Roby's Racing, racing number 27, which we were just out at Monadnock, and we're actually going to be heading to Star Speedway coming up in July. And we're going to be partnering up with them where we're going to bring in a veteran that it could be a veteran, it could be a Gold Star mother. All it is just got to be part of the like a veteran or Gold Star mother type deal. And we'll bring you in, and we're going to be putting you as a honorary pit crew member, and you'll get all the food and drinks covered. We'll get you to be wearing a headset, listening to the driver talk to the crew, as well as you're going to be getting 2 free shirts, not 1 but 2. So we'll be giving those out to people. So if you know of any veterans, and that even goes for you, Stephanie, too. If you know any veterans that are into racing, tell them to hit us up, and we'll get them onto one of the races, and they will also get free transportation out to the races It doesn't matter where it's at, as long as they want to go, we'll take them up. So now let's go to, let's see, the I know you were talking about you guys went to the Red Sox games and stuff like that. Which that was, I believe, was that home base run or something?
No, we actually just had a private grant money to do what we call reintegration experiences.
Okay.
So we rented a stretch Cadillac limo, and we took 15 veterans to a game in May.
Wow.
It was fun.
Oh, I bet. I mean, I guarantee you, probably the smiles on those veterans' faces that had to make them just, light
Yeah.
up. A kid on Christmas morning seeing the
Yeah.
presents, So
Yeah,
that's
that was a good day.
now. Do they have anything? Do they have anything planned right now for like once the what is it, Patriots are coming back, or even for anything for the Revolution soccer team?
So not yet. Right now we are running a fly tie fishing class. So the first couple of classes, you make your own fly tie fishing lures, and then when the class is over, we're going to do a half-day fishing trip. So
Okay.
if you're interested in fishing, we've got that going on. We've got some yoga going on for the female veterans right now. We do some on-site barbecues throughout the summer, but our next big event is end of August. It's August 27th. It is our 5th annual speaker series, but I've got a musician named Callie out of Rally Sound. He's going to do a good hour-long set of just free music and free barbecue for veterans at Monument Park in Gardner. And then following that, we're going to have an Air Force veteran named Blair Morin just kind of come and talk about PTSD awareness, his struggle when he got back. He actually went through a home base program for his PTSD. So first half of it is kind of like fun, light concert. Kelly plays like rock style music. And then the second half of it is meant to just really focus on like mental health awareness and connecting vets with resources. So that's our next big event. That's August 27th. And then hopefully when the fall runs around, we'll do like some bowling trips and things like that a little more locally.
Perfect. I mean, that definitely sounds like I mean, who doesn't like, barbecue and live
Right.
music? Come on. I mean, that's
Right. It's the season of barbecue. I even got MVOC cornhole sets so we could play in the parking lot this summer.
we might have to even get some can jam down there too, because that's
Yeah.
another thing. Oh man, that's gonna be a good time. Now for some of the listeners and stuff like that, I know we talked about before was, the grants and stuff like that. Some of your stuff comes from grants, some of your stuff comes from donations and stuff like that. If a individual that's watching this or something and they want to be able to donate to you guys directly, how can they do that?
Sure. So if you go to our website, which is veterans-outreach.org, and click the big yellow donate button in the bottom, you can donate online. And there's a few different ways to donate. You can donate specifically to MVOC, it just a general fund if you'd like, or if you wanted, you could donate to the housing project specifically. So you can donate online through our website. And then you can also donate via text. I've got to look up what the text number I think it's 50123. And if you just text that number, it'll ask you if you want to donate to us, and you can do it on your phone. So there's a couple different ways to donate, but I'd say our website is the easiest, veterans-outreach.org, and then there's a big yellow donate button on there.
All right, perfect. And we'll have all these links down below into either the messaging and stuff like that, or into the notes. And then if you're listening to this onto Spotify, you can be able to see that on the listings down there below. But again, any information, definitely don't hesitate. You can always message out to us, and we can get you in contact with Stephanie and her group and stuff. So, with all that, so they can donate directly through those pages, as well as through the text messaging.
Yeah.
You know,
And I would say, I know I spoke a lot about our different funding sources. So if you wonder, like, where does my donation go? Well, the funding sources keep us afloat, right? But they don't keep things nice, homey, personable, right? So one of the things that we do anytime anybody moves in with us, fresh bedding, brand new pillow, stuff for their bedroom, basket of hygiene supplies, because a lot of these guys come in with nothing. Also, in all of our apartments, we pay for utilities. We pay for heat, electricity, water, which after this winter, is a nightmare. So donations help keep it comfy and like things that make it more like your home than at a shelter, because I never want anybody to feel like they're at a shelter. And then the donations allow us to do the fun stuff too, which is just as important, because you could take somebody and put them in a single twin size bed and call them housed, but what kind of life do they have? So the donations help us do fun stuff, get them out of their rooms, help them with reintegration, stuff like that. So it goes a long way, even if it's a couple dollars.
so it still those donations still go and help those veterans. And again, because a lot of veterans, like you said, they don't have anything. It may just come with the clothing on their back, or they may come with just a backpack that's on their back, and it may have a few essential stuff that mean dear to them.
Yeah.
Because again, anywhere I go, and this is once I got in, I've always carried this around. I've always notated everything with my name. These are the stencils they give you out in basic, and it's like, put your name on everything. Well,
Yeah.
I still do. I,
You can't help it.
I got both of them, and these are almost
Wow.
almost what I think it's like 15
Yeah.
years almost now. And I still,
Wow. It gets hammered into you, right? So even, when we have guys who show up with nothing, they still have their tags in their DD-214. They might not have shoes,
yeah,
but they know to keep their tags in their DD-214
yeah,
100% of the time.
yeah, and I still got buddies of mine that that I don't see anymore. And I got like one, his mother gave me his dog tag, one of his dog tags. And when she was going through it, she had like this big ball of dog tags, and she's like, I don't know what to do with it. And I was like, just hand them out to any of the guys that are with us, and a lot of us will keep it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if it's Fitchburg or Leominster, but one of those two cities recently created a memorial completely made out of dog tags. It is emotional. But I thought that was a really just kind of beautiful thing to do with it, because a lot of people, you have a bunch and you certainly don't want to throw them away. So I thought that was just a really cool thing for them to do. I keep them when any of our guys pass, if they don't have families to take stuff, I have them in my office. You can't throw those things out.
no, it will mean a lot to them without them even knowing it, and you not realizing that it means a lot to them. And I've got my grandfather's dog tag and stuff. I've got he had my dog tag and stuff like that. And then my grandmother kept it when my grandfather passed, and then once my grandmother passed, it was then I got it back, and now it's I got it. And
I have my grandfather's flag and tags in my office.
it's again, it's just it means a lot to a lot of people. And even what's behind me over here is I move it. I do a lot of stuff with veterans, and the this here, I did it as it was a silent auction through the rifle, which is ran by who's the author is Andy Bigelow, who did the Boston Wounded Vet run for the last 12-13 years. And I do so much with it. And again, that's another veteran that was from World War II that it has his information on it, and it's like it just means a lot to me, because it's like, if we don't remember it and try to keep it going, then it's just not going to be remembered later on in life. And so I want that tradition to be carried down to my kids, and them to realize the men and women that came before me and that came before them. And I've got my oldest son now that's looking at joining the ROTC at his school, and I'm like, do it.
Yeah.
I said, it's down, it's perfect, it's great.
Yeah, if we don't talk about history, not only does it repeat itself, but it goes away.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, keep it out.
Yep, absolutely. But really, I mean, it looks like we went through pretty much everything that we were talking about. And it, like, when I first met you and were able to get in contact with someone, because it was like Edwin, and I'm like, I'm trying to reach out to this person, Justin, and then I'm like playing the phone tag with Justin back and forth, and it's like, oh wow. Like, I want to be able to talk to someone, because again, I'm in Central Mass, and a lot of the people that I talk to are normally in Boston or in Providence or in this or in that. And it's like, wait, I want to be able to get someone that's in this area that I can try to help other veterans that are out in this area. And I know a lot of people do podcasts now. Anybody that has a computer or mic or whatnot, it's everybody does it, but who's going to stick around? That's the question. And that's when I met my buddy, Travis. He was like, if you stick around for 6 months, then you're probably going to make it. But if you don't stick around, then you probably might not make it. You're probably just, it's going to be something that you're not going to want to do anymore. Now I'm going on almost going on 2 years now.
Oh, wow.
And it's, I'm now at, what is it? I think 492 followers, subscribers. So, which,
nice.
I started out with 5 or 6, then went 7, then 10, then 20. And I just kept going and going. And they may not all watch this. Everybody doesn't watch it like all at like once, but it watches it throughout, which is great. And that's basically what I'm trying to do, is be able to help veterans be able to connect this stuff. Because again, I even had the issues with trying to get everything connected and be able to get past the red tape, which I was pushed, and it was like, okay, I really need to do this. And that's why I'm like, okay, I did it. Now it's like, all right, I like the VA, but then sometimes it's like, wait, that's not too easy.
Yeah. And I think, especially where you're in Central Mass, we've got one of the densest populations of veterans in New England. And I don't necessarily know why that is, but I would say a big part of it is the amount of help that exists, right? So it's not just MVOC. I would say like Montachusett Community College has one of the best veterans offices. They've got national recognition for it. The DAV is right around the corner in Gardner. The Posts and Legions are great. And then I think because of this area of the state, there's a ton of motorcycle groups for veterans as well. And I would say, if you haven't heard of it or looked into it yet, there's another really nice nonprofit called Frost Call. They do gaming, and they do mobile gaming for veterans. So they're finally figuring out how to capture some of the younger vets, the Afghanistan and Iraq ones. In Frost Call, they do, video game, Twitch streams, things like that. They'll also do it mobily. So if you wanted to do like an in-person event, I'm actually trying to work with them to hopefully do something this fall on site at MVOC. So if you're not looking to join like a Post or a Legion, you're not in that age bracket yet, take a look at Frost Call, because they're doing some fun stuff.
Now, I don't know if you've heard of, but there was a new group that just started up. It's called Garrison Speed.
No?
That they're in Mendon, Massachusetts, and they're actually giving lessons to people to be able to help veterans and stuff learn the whole thing regarding how to weld, and it could be MIG, TIG, and whatnot. they're giving out those classes, and they're doing it for free, to help veterans to be able to show them these kind of trades. Because again, the trade thing for people nowadays, it's like it's kind of going away, that they're not picking it up. There's a lot of them that are trying to help people to keep one of those things out, and it's called Garrison Speed, which is in Mendon, Mass, and stuff. And they work with another foundation, which is I don't know if you've heard of them, but it's Fire for Effect Foundation. Alan and I think his name is Dustin is the other one. They've got stuff going on as well, and they do a lot of stuff. Uh, they do a lot of stuff with veterans, because again, they're Marine Corps vets. Um, and so I know they have a summer bash coming up this weekend, this Saturday, from 1 to 8 in Bridgewater. So
I do know too, if you talk to like Mass Hire anywhere in the state is going to have a veterans employment counselor, and they can connect you with training. But there's another one too. It's called off-base transition training. And they break it down as simple as like, how do you interview for a civilian job, right? Because you probably didn't have a normal interview for the military. So they'll do interview skills, how to rebuild your resume as it reflects your military time, things like that. So take a look at off-base transition training. And if you forget that, just call Mass Hire and ask for the veterans counselor, and they'll know how to connect you with that too.
perfect.
There's stuff out there. You just have to know to look for it,
Sorry. I got a phone call coming in, and I'm like, I'm telling you, it's
What is it? Everything Murphy's Law.
yeah, well, everything, and if it can go wrong, it will go wrong, and that's with me.
Well, look, that's why it's Fubar Studios, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, that's great. I mean, so you got Frost Call, or sorry, yeah, you said no.
Yeah, Frost Call is
Frost
if
Call,
you want to do like gaming and stuff like that with other
stuff
veterans.
like that, yeah. And then you get Mass Hire, which that will help you with a lot of with job create with resume building and stuff like that, and getting you into that kind of going. And then you got off base transitioning training, which that's another one that does stuff like that. So I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that
and we have the Mass Hire Veterans Employment Counselor on site once a month. So if you don't want to walk into an unemployment office because maybe that doesn't make you feel great either, you can come see us. He's in the lobby, and we are one of the host sites for off-base transition training as well.
Now, yeah, that's perfect, and that's maybe a lot of another step for a veteran to do. Because I know, again, we don't want to ask for the help, but if we go to to your center, you have these people that are actually there at your guys' center that might be there to be able to help them get that.
Yep. Come in and get a free cup of coffee, and I will find 3 other things to give you while you're there.
Perfect. And I guarantee the viewers will love that, because I will hands down 4 or 5 cups in the morning, just to get going. That's just just to get up, just to get to my car. But no, this is definitely great, and I really appreciate it for you coming on this evening and be able to provide us that information, because again, I've been talking about it lately. It's just the whole veteran homelessness that it's out there, and it's like it's what a lot of veterans were looking for, and I think that's going to help out some more. And now it's building the gap between it to be able to know where that's at.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody, check us out. We're here, and if we're not the right place to help you, we will find the right place to help you. So just ask the question. That's all you have to do.
Perfect. And I got one more question actually to ask you.
Yeah.
That you say that. Now with everything, Jesus, I was just there. Oh my God. Drawing a blank. Oh my gosh. I knew I should have written it down. I just thought of it, and I was like, just gonna start typing it, but I didn't. Oh, wow. Yeah. All right. No.
Well, you can email me and throw it in as a quote later.
Absolutely. That's why I will definitely do that. But again, thank you, Stephanie, for coming on and talking to us here on FUBAR Studios. And I might have to reach out to even pick your brain some more on another episode.
Yeah, please do. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. And at that point, I'm gonna have Beavis and Butthead go ahead and take it over for us. All right, thanks.
Shut up! Shut up!
Yeah. Shut up!
You suck!
Stop, in the name of all that which does not suck.
Thanks for watching FUBAR Studios Veteran Reinforcement. Please make sure to check out the FUBAR Studios on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and visit the website at FUBARstudio.com. FUBAR Studios is a Sinista1 Productions.